Alright, the last couple of years I've had a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to go through everything I can in one video, and I hope that it helps. Once you create your ProBoard account, then I ask you to create your first crew. What I'm going to need is a B17 name, and then your crew all gets their own individual names. I use a random name sorry, I bit my tongue. I use a random name generator for my personal crews, but they can be whatever you want. Once you create a crew, then I will respond, or the group XO, which is Keyboy, will respond. And we're going to assign you to a squadron. It'll most likely be the squadron with the least amount of people, or the least amount of active players at any given time. I will send it to you in a response to your sign-up post. I'm also going to assign you to a group, so that whenever you look at your profile, you'll automatically see which group you're in, just in case. We ask that your final AAR, or after action report, be turned in by midnight your time on Saturday, or 11:59 p.m. Every mission will be posted Saturday and begin on Sunday. This will allow for crews to volunteer either for lead or tail positions in the flights. I'm also going to provide you with some links. If you need any additional game files, BoardGameGeek.com has a bunch of them. Anywhere from counters to mission charts, anything along those lines. The 15th Air Force rules are also going to be provided in here. For the most part, they are the same as the 8th Air Force, except we'll fly with the B-17G, which uses a chin turret instead of a nose gun, and it hits on a 5 or 6 instead of just a 6. It also attacks 1030 and 130 positions as well. The other main part that we use out of the rules of the 15th Air Force is the Alps. Because there are missions where we fly over the Alps. If you need any charts or maps, they're all available here as well. You can just download them straight from the forum. There's also some special rules that we use. These are optional, so if you want to incorporate them, you can. If not, then you don't have to. And it's the use of additional fighters like the Ju-88 or the Messerschmitt 210. We use what's called a Peckham point chart, and it determines how many points of damage your airplane takes, and it can also result in the plane being written off due to being too badly battle damaged, or having to be down for a couple of days of repair time. Every now and again, you'll come across a mission that uses special mission rules, such as Pathfinder, which will add a +1 to our bomb drop. Most of those I have under the special operation rules. We have these are house rules. So these are optional. They are there to add flavor and realism to the campaign. For people being wounded, how long they're going to be in the hospital. The Peckham damage system, telling you how long your aircraft's going to be down for repairs, or if it's able to be flight ready in the next mission. If you ever need to use a spare B-17 due to battle damage, all the bombers are listed in the hard stands. Keyboy has taken over supply for me, and it's been a very big help. And it will tell you if the bomber is a spare or if it's an available bomber. Now to get into the bulk of the game itself. The bulk of the game itself is run here in the mission board. Every week a new mission will be posted, and when this happens I will send an email to you, and it will have just a basic target information and a shortcut link to the mission itself. The important information from the initial mission brief is these top 3 lines. It tells you the mission date, the mission number, and our target. And then from where it says weather down, sometimes there will be special mission rules will be in here as well, and they'll be underneath the enemy resistance. Every mission will also have a map, and I'm going to highlight our flight plan with an arrow, as well as the command structure for the group. Should Colonel Story go down, then it is possible that the XO, which is Keyboy, will take over. The only thing that would change would be awards and promotions, because then they would go through him instead of through the group commander. Then squadron commanders are Crushed Hat, Super B, and Keyboy. And then we have our Group XOs. Our Group XOs are flying leaders. They are the senior pilot from each squadron. And then underneath them, everybody goes by seniority. It goes rank, and then however many missions the person's flown. Which is why you're going to see that change whenever your plane gets shot down, you're going to drop down to the bottom of the list. And the reason for that is that way, say Captain Dan White, he's on his 23rd mission right now. When he hits his 25th, he's going to rotate to another position and he won't be on flight status anymore. In that case, the senior guy, which is Captain Seth Harper, would step up and become the new Squadron XO. Or, again, going back to whether Colonel Story or Lieutenant Colonel Griffin gets shot down, then one of the squadron commanders is going to move up and opening up the space as well. Moving on to AARs, since Silent One's already posted for me. The important information for AARs is just that box right there. The bomber information, the mission information, your crew information, if you're on target, any damage that's been done to your plane, that way you know how much repair time. Again, that's optional. Crew casualties, that way they can be marked down into the mission debrief. Any claims, 109s, 190s, 110s. Any of the extra planes, I will group into them as well. Most likely down as ME-110s just for scoring purposes. Then every Sunday, or upon receiving the final mission AAR from the entire group, I will post a mission debrief, which will have our victory and then all the mission information compiled into just one spot. How many planes we put up, how many reached the target, the group's overall bomb percentage, how many bombers were lost, how many crewmen were killed, then break down into wounded, lightly wounded, seriously wounded, POWs, and then enemy aircraft that we shot down. Another thing to look for every week is your crew. I'm going to go by the order they received, that I received the AR, and then by the person's rank. But if you just want to do a quick search, you can find your crew that way as well. And it'll tell you who's been awarded any awards, who's been promoted. The way our promotions work is every 10 missions your crew member gets promoted to the next rank. For every 5 missions you're going to receive an air medal. Again, this is all flavor stuff just to make it more realistic and to add into more role playing and to give it more of a all-around feel for the group as a whole. Award requests, I haven't seen this one used as much this campaign, but if you feel one of your crew members should be awarded an award, whether it's the Air Medal, whether it's, well, Air Medal's automatic, the Silver Star, Distinguished Flying Cross, Distinguished Service Cross, Medal of Honor, this would be the place to put it. If you put them in for the Medal of Honor, then all the squadron commanders are going to get together and we're going to discuss whether or not we think the person is actually qualified for it or if it needs to be downgraded. One thing I didn't mention was squadron positions. We have a rotating squadron position. And the way that it works is one mission, your squadron is going to be flying high, the next mission will fly low, the next mission will fly middle. The high squadron is always going to be high middle. The middle squadron will put up one bomber to fly lead, and you can volunteer with your squadron's commander in his office. The low squadron is always going to provide one bomber to fly tail, and they will again volunteer in your squadron commander's office, or you could always be voluntold if nobody volunteers. Squadron commander could say, okay, you're the junior guy, you're going to fly tail. Or you can turn to his XO and say, nobody volunteered, you're going to fly lead.